Producer Colleen Hoover says she didn't set out for fame, but her love of writing helped fame find her. Hoover dominates the New York Times bestsellers list, once claiming 8 of the top 10 paperback spots.
Some people will always like a book better than a movie, and some people will like a movie better than a book. We just did our best to honor the book and honor the fans.
Now, Colleen, what were some of the non-negotiables?
There's a couple of quotes that I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen the movie.
Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account, and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively, but then she asked him herself to play Ryle in the movie. And things were great until Blake Lively, right? Having worked through the preferred Reynolds style of abuse, that Colleen Hoover was similarly love-bombed by the couple. I think that's what they do.
It's Colleen Hoover's Hollywood debut, the author's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us, which sold 8 million copies to date, now adapted to the big screen.
I read this so I could get ready for the movie coming out.
For one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year, the wildly successful author now stepping into a new role as an executive producer.
What's the message you hope people take away when seeing this film?
I hope that they walk away from this feeling hope for themselves, hope for their friends. The way that Blake portrays it, it left me feeling hopeful.
Did you feel pressure at all initially to make sure that it kind of met the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure there. But knowing that I feel good about this movie and it's such a faithful adaptation, I'm excited. I always questioned, like, how was she in this abusive relationship? Mm-hmm. And so writing her story for me was a way to explore that.
She looks like she has money, and she's dressing in florals, and then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. And so that's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman. And he has badass women like me defending him. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not the way.
Authorship, yet women represent 85% of people making purchases in homes across all categories. Yet the majority of things that we're buying are created by men. And that goes into storytelling, that goes into filmmaking, that goes into everything. So I think that it's, and I like a lot of stories told by men and products made by men, but it's just not equitable, but it's also not logical.
It's my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. Then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously. And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists now spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they can possibly do, having spewed lovey-dovey stuff to each other for months on end.
And of course, there is some dark irony here that Colleen Hoover wrote this book about abuse, but seemed unable to pick up the abuse that was happening right under her nose. So she unwittingly, hopefully, I should say unwittingly, played along in this. She allowed Justin and his family to be put in that basement and seemed open to the prospect, as we showed in that old interview with her and Blake, of her getting her movie rights back.
Hey, my beautiful messy besties. Madison here, back with another scoop of scorching hot drama that'll have you clutching your pearls and side-eyeing your group chats. And oh boy, do I have a story for you today. Picture this. Colleen Hoover, queen of heartbreak novels, suddenly hits the digital nuke button on all traces of Blake Lively. The same Blake who once topped everyone's BFF list. The same Miss Perfect from Gossip Girl turned Hollywood it girl and the wife of snark-lord Ryan Reynolds. But guess what? She's vanished from Colleen Hoover's Instagram feed with zero explanation. Poof, gone. Like that random ex you swore never existed. What in the world happened? Well, babes, if you thought Tinseltown's drama was done delivering curveballs, hold on to your venti iced latte because we're just getting started. Before we dive in, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button like you're Ryan Reynolds dunking on his BFF Hugh Jackman. And if you're living for this Hollywood meltdown, slap that like button because your girl has the receipts and you do not want to miss a single detail of this fiasco. All right, seatbelts on, lovelies. Let's break down how the once sunny relationship between Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively went up in flames, why Hoover is apparently done with the Queen of Chaos, and how Justin Baldoni somehow sits at the epicenter of it all. This meltdown's got novelists fleeing Instagram, superstars rewriting scripts, and fans losing their minds. Trust me, it's the plot twist you never saw coming. Let's start with the biggest shocker. Colleen Hoover, the best-selling author we all know and love for tearjerker romances like It Ends With Us, Verity, and half the books that had us bawling our eyes out in a corner, up and decided to scrub every single trace of Blake Lively from her Instagram. Like literally. One day we see cutesy pics of them hugging at some fancy event. The next, zap, gone. Honey, if you blinked, you might have missed the meltdown. Fans first noticed that Miss Hoover deactivated her Instagram for a hot minute right when the legal war between Blake and Justin Baldoni exploded. Then, boom, she came back, but with a vengeance. No more lively photos, no more shout outs, no more "I love working with Blake, she's so honest and sweet" posts. It was as if Miss Gossip Girl never existed in Hooverland. And babes, the internet lit up with questions. Did something happen behind the scenes? Did Hoover pick a side? Is she beefing with the Deadpool family? The theories basically took on a life of their own. Some fans said it was a quiet way of Hoover slamming the door on Blake's chaotic nonsense. Others thought maybe it was just standard Hollywood PR, a clean slate approach to avoid the ongoing drama. But let's be real, the optics, they're savage because you don't just purge all evidence of someone from your feed unless you're done. All right, for anyone living under a rock, here's the quick refresher. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Colleen Hoover teamed up to make a film adaptation of It Ends With Us. Hoover's emotional powerhouse about heartbreak and survival. It was supposed to be the perfect combination. Hoover, the beloved author whose novels basically come with a "will make you cry in 5 minutes" warning. Baldoni, the nice guy actor/director, known for sweet, heartfelt projects like 5 Feet Apart, plus his endless talks on empathy and masculinity. Blake Lively, star power incarnate, with a track record of playing strong yet vulnerable women. She was pegged to bring Lily Bloom to life, leading lady of Heartbreak Central. Fans ate it up. From the jump, everyone saw dollar signs and box office gold. What could possibly go wrong? Answer, everything. Because behind that glossy Hollywood veneer, a storm was brewing. According to the rumor mill, Blake got way too involved in behind-the-scenes decision. Ryan Reynolds, yes, Deadpool himself, apparently swooped in to punch up lines or do some script rewriting. Baldoni felt overshadowed on his own project, like he was no longer the captain of the ship. Tension soared, and as we all know, tension in Hollywood never stays hidden for long. But, oh honey, the next level meltdown arrived when Blake filed a sexual harassment complaint against Baldoni, setting off a chain reaction that basically cratered everyone's good vibes. She also accused him of orchestrating a smear campaign, like he hired a team of online trolls to ruin my name type of drama. Baldoni fired back with a defamation countersuit, insisting he was the victim of a carefully crafted scheme to dethrone him from his own project. And guess who got caught in the crossfires, right? Colleen, I just want to write novels. Hoover. Oh, how quickly the narrative flipped. The beloved movie adaptation hype morphed into a soap opera spectacle. Suddenly, we had Blake playing victim, telling the world Baldoni abused his directorial power. Baldoni calling out Blake for destroying his life, tarnishing his carefully built brand, and swiping control of the film. Colleen Hoover, stuck in the middle, watching her beloved book adaptation swirl down the drain of public meltdown. And that's when it got extra weird. Because we all expected Hoover to pick a side. At first, she seemed to back Blake, praising her as kind, honest, and perfect for Lily Bloom. But once the lawsuits started dropping and the social media mudslinging soared, our bestie Colleen took a big step back, and eventually she took the nuclear option, removing all pictures of Lively from her social profiles and going completely silent on the entire fiasco. Cue the world. Wait, is Hoover dropping Blake to side with Baldoni? Is she staying neutral, or is she just playing done with both of them? The speculation was wild, and the fact that Miss Hoover still follows or interacts with Baldoni on Instagram only fanned the flames. Could it be a subtle "I've got your back" statement? Or is she just trying to keep that door open so the entire project doesn't go up in smoke? Let's not forget the comedic interlude that's Ryan Reynolds, Blake's hubster and personal comedic sidekick. Allegedly, Big Boss Ryan had input on rewriting certain script parts for It Ends With Us, which might sound sweet. He's supporting his wife. But behind the scenes, folks were calling it a danger sign. Because let's be real, babes. Does Ryan Reynolds dabbling in a heartbreak drama about domestic abuse ring a little off-key Some sources say it was a show of solidarity. Others claim it was a giant middle finger to Baldoni, like, see, we can overshadow your entire script if we want. The tension soared, with paparazzi capturing glimpses of the set that apparently looked more like a battleground than a place of creative synergy. Meanwhile, the fans were like, is Lily Bloom about to whip out Deadpool's katana or something? Because that's how bizarre the rumor mill got. And you can imagine how that overshadowed poor Colleen Hoover's delicate storyline about love and survival. Instead of celebrating the nuance of the novel, everyone was too busy dissecting Ryan's handy-dandy script doctor cameo. Just when we thought it couldn't get any crazier, Blake dropped the bombshell sexual harassment allegations. She claimed Baldoni crossed professional lines, made her feel uncomfortable, and was behind a manipulative media campaign. Baldoni retorted with a $400 million countersuit, accusing her of lying to sabotage his career, employing negative PR tactics to paint him as a villain. That's where the meltdown hit DEFCON 1. Because news broke that Baldoni's agency, WME, dropped him like a hot potato. Awards he'd received were suddenly revoked. People basically ghosted him in group chats. Meanwhile, fans were left whiplashed, unsure who to believe. Did Baldoni betray that nice guy image? Is Blake simply weaponizing accusations for creative power? And why was Ryan Reynolds suspiciously quiet about the meltdown, though he did let slip a bizarre comment at some event, making everything feel even more cringe? Meanwhile, Hoover is seeing the entire fiasco overshadow her beloved novel. If you're her, you're probably thinking this is the adaptation from hell, right? But the question remains, why did she specifically drag out the digital eraser for Lively's face? Now to the epic purge. Miss Hoover wasn't playing. She not only took a sabbatical from Instagram, but returned to a feed that was squeaky clean. No mention of Lively, no behind-the-scenes shots from the red carpet premiere. Even that sweet, warm post praising Blake's honesty got zapped. If you blinked, you missed it. Fan theories. She's done with the drama. Some folks say she's just trying to protect her brand from the swirling negativity. She's on the cusp of more Hollywood adaptations, like Verity, with Anne Hathaway, so maybe she's sidestepping landmine. She's secretly Team Baldoni. Others note that she still follows or acknowledges Baldoni, at least in small ways, so maybe she's offering a quiet show of loyalty. Could be she believes in his innocence. She's trying to look Switzerland. Another angle is that Hoover's going for a pure neutrality approach, erasing both Lively and Baldoni from her official storyline. But the problem? People have receipts. She didn't exactly wipe Baldoni to the same extent. The fallout is real, babes. Some fans are calling Hoover a sellout, accusing her of ditching a female star at her worst moment. Others are applauding her for distancing from the fiasco. In short, the drama's as thick as an LA smog alert. The best part, or worse, depending on who you ask, this meltdown isn't just about 3 big names. We've got entire studios, future film deals, other star-studded adaptation prospects, all teetering on the brink. Verity might be next. If Hoover's seen as too risky, or if her star collaborators think she'll bail on them at the first sign of trouble, that jeopardizes everything. Meanwhile, if Lively's brand tarnishes further, it might scare producers away from working with her. And if Baldoni's name is forever linked to a Me Too scandal, that's a career death sentence in Tinseltown. Everyone is playing defense. Blake is presumably trying to salvage her squeaky clean America's sweetheart image in the face of a harsh defamation countersuit. Baldoni is fighting to keep afloat after his once adored persona took a nuke-level hit. Hoover's walking a fine line. She wants to keep her Hollywood pipeline intact, but also avoid the backlash from either side. And let's not sleep on fans who are going ballistic on social media, dissecting every tidbit, forming Team Blake or Team Baldoni alliances, and side-eyeing Hoover for apparently choosing profit or brand image over moral clarity. We all know Tinseltown loves a redemption arc. Today's pariah is tomorrow's golden child if the spin is good enough. But in this case, the meltdown is so public, it might leave scars no spin doctor can fully fade. It doesn't help that big-name commentators like Candace Owens and various entertainment pundits are calling out the players by name. People are labeling Blake a diva, Baldoni a fake male feminist, Ryan Reynolds a script meddler, and Hoover a sellout. And that's not just tabloids. It's fans, critics, Twitter stans. Everyone's got a scorching take. The question is, will these scorching takes blow over, or is this meltdown epic enough to define their careers going forward? So the big headline is Colleen Hoover destroyed Blake Lively, but let's parse that. Did Hoover literally come for Lively with pitchforks, or did she simply step out of the drama by wiping Instagram, inadvertently sending a massive "I'm done with her" message? Because removing all references to someone is basically the 2025 version of an 18th century duel. It's savage, it's final, and it screams You no longer exist in my narrative, the kicker. In the past, Hoover raved about how Lively was sweet, patient, and everything Lily Bloom needed. But after the chaos erupted, she quietly ghosted Lively's entire existence. That's next level hush. Fans are reading it like, oh, so you turned your back on the woman you once praised because it's beneficial to your brand to be invisible right now, right? Or maybe it's Blake did something behind the scenes so horrific that Hoover had no choice. Either way, the speculation is wild. Make no mistake, Colleen Hoover built a veritable empire on heartbreak-laden novels that kept us up sobbing at 3 a.m. Her brand thrives on sincerity, emotional depth, and moral complexities. Now she's the center of a fiasco that's overshadowing all that. Instead of fans gushing about her tear-jerking chapters, they're gossiping about her betrayal or cowardice or mastermind neutrality, potential outcomes. Hoover emerges untainted. She might remain neutral enough that the next wave of film adaptations like Verity or Regretting You still push through without a hitch. Hollywood shrugs and life goes on. Hoover takes a side. If the meltdown intensifies and the public demands clarity, she might be forced to publicly align with Baldoni or Lively, risking major backlash from the other side. Collapses under the drama. If the negativity lingers, studios might deem her too complicated, especially if the public starts seeing her as a contributor to the chaos. That would be the ultimate heartbreak for an author who loves seeing her worlds come to life on screen. No matter how it pans out, people are going to remember her Instagram purge. That's for sure, because in the digital age, scrubbing your account is about as loud a statement as you can make without saying a word. Now let's circle back to the lawsuit because, oh honey, it's still raging. Blake is claiming sexual harassment, smear campaigns, emotional distress. Baldoni is countersuing for defamation, painting Blake as the manipulator who staged a meltdown to wrest creative control from him. We're talking monstrous damage claims and potential years of litigation. Meanwhile, the whole fiasco threatens to torch every film adaptation Hoover dreamed of. Because let's face it, if fans turn sour on the brand, that's less box office interest for any future project. And that's where Hoover's neutrality or perceived betrayal might be crucial. If the final outcome of the lawsuit sees Baldoni vindicated, does Hoover come out smelling like roses for not siding too heavily with Blake? If Blake triumphs, does that mean Hoover's an enabler? The stakes are monstrous. All right, babes, we've come full circle. We started with the jaw-dropping revelation that Colleen Hoover quietly destroyed or erased Blake Lively on Instagram and ended up unraveling a labyrinth of lawsuits, creative control battles, scrapped reputations, and an author forced to choose between a rock and a hot place. So what's the real takeaway? That Tinseltown is savage? That authors have to protect themselves once Hollywood swoops in? That we should never let our comedic husbands rewrite heartfelt dramas? Possibly all of the above. One thing's for sure, everyone in this trifecta, Blake, Baldoni, and Hoover, faces a rocky road ahead with fans and media hawk-eyeing their every move. Now, I want to hear from you, my gossip gurus. Do you think Hoover did the right thing by purging her feed? Is this a sneaky way of siding with Baldoni, or is she truly going for a total neutrality route? And who do you believe in the meltdown, Blake or Baldoni? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. And honey, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you're living for the drama. Smash subscribe so you don't miss the next explosive update, because I have a feeling the moment one new piece of evidence drops, it's going to blow this entire fiasco wide open again. Share this video with your fellow chaos lovers. The bigger our audience, the more piping hot exclusives I can serve up. This has been your girl, your messy best friend in all things Hollywood meltdown, Miss Madison Starr. Remember, babes, in Tinseltown, the script can flip faster than you can say behind the scenes meltdown. Stay messy, stay blessed, and keep your eyes peeled for the next scandal, because I guarantee this saga is far from over.